Energy drinks: Celsius, Monster, Alani, Red Bull, Reign. The list goes on. Have you seen these drinks present in your school environment?
The most extensively used stimulant drug in the world. You're told it's the miracle drug. You're told they're harmless. What you're not told is past the packaging. Threats to your health, sleep, weight, and becoming a substance that you will heavily depend on. It will control you like a game.
Take it from me, an 18-year-old who has been fully dependent on caffeinated beverages since sophomore year of high school.
If I try to begin my day without a Monster or Reign on my bedside table, I can expect a pounding headache until I find some source of caffeine. The addiction all started with just a morning coffee as a pick-me-up, then a second in the afternoon, and then a third, and I'm feeding a full-time addiction 7 to 8 times a day. The restlessness and rapid heart rate are something I'm used to. I wish I could break the cycle, and if I'm going to be honest, I've already had 3 of these today.
And how does this happen, you may ask? Let's dive into the chemistry.
The effects of caffeine take place inside of the brain. Caffeine is an antagonist for a neurotransmitter called adenosine. Adenosine, when it binds to its receptors, it promotes feelings of sleepiness. Adenosine is also an antagonist for norepinephrine and dopamine, which are neurotransmitters involved in the feelings of reward and joy. When caffeine binds to these receptors, it blocks adenosine from binding to them, stopping you from feeling tired. This promotes feelings of wakefulness, alertness, and focus. As you can see here, there are new adenosine receptors being produced by your neurons. When more adenosine receptors are being produced, you feel more tired. This requires more caffeine throughout the day to keep the effect lasting.
Stop. More caffeine throughout the day to keep the effect lasting. This right here is where the addiction cycle begins. As your brain adapts to the energy drinks that you drink, you will begin to require more and more caffeine to keep experiencing these effects.
And according to the American Psychiatric Association's DSM-5, caffeine withdrawal is now considered a mental disorder. This disorder is becoming more and more common as teens replace their sugary sodas with strong energy drinks. There is a direct correlation between increasing the amount of caffeine you consume and increased heart rate, anxiety, depressive mood, and binge eating habits.
The addiction is only half of the issue. The health consequences of caffeine is becoming a serious hidden threat, with its abnormal effects on the heart and risk for seizures. Following are some real stories that happened in the United States.
Jargon with the Wall Street Journal conducted a study at a local high school in Jefferson City, Missouri, showing that nearly every single teenager was pounding energy drinks throughout the day. The school has reported children going to the nurse's office complaining of uncontrollable heart rates and the inability to sit still. Adenosine receptors in your brain being constantly clogged can lower the seizure threshold in the brain because there is no adenosine to slow down this neuronal activity. So excessive amounts can make you very prone to these seizures. Several reported seizures have occurred at the high school, and one thing every seizure report has in common is that the child had reported heavy caffeine use that same day. The principal deems this a silent crisis, a crisis happening to these innocent young teenagers. And honestly, I'm lucky that something like this hasn't happened to me yet, because the palpitations happening in my chest feel like a heart attack just waiting to happen. When my Apple Watch sends me alerts of high heart rate, look at my face turning pale in class, if only this substance never got in my hands in the first place when I was a young teenager. If it were up to me, I would ban this substance from being sold to anyone young enough to be vulnerable to its side effects.
According to Debbie Sridhar, journalist for The Guardian, in the United Kingdom, following the release of famous Prime Energy, the government began a consultation proposing that retailers are no longer allowed to sell energy drinks to those under the age of 16. Following the end of November 2025, it shall be deemed illegal.
Illegal. They are aware of the crisis that most of us are turning a blind eye to. Matter of fact, I remember my first energy drink. When I was 14, I was playing pickup basketball at my local athletic center when an older kid bought me a blue C4 energy drink. I remember my first strong caffeine buzz. It was euphoric, a feeling that I am chasing to this very day. If only I could go back and tell my young teenage self to stay away from these psychoactive drugs decorated as fun beverages. My message to anyone in that age group is to never try energy drinks ever. You have no idea what they can do to your everyday life and well-being.